Story 1. So this happened about 3 months ago, and I'm still amazed at how ridiculous some people can be. Let me give you some background first. I work as a software engineer for a tech company downtown, and after years of saving up and living in a cramped apartment, I finally had enough money for a down payment on a house. Nothing fancy, just a modest 3-bedroom place in one of those quiet suburban neighborhoods where everyone minds their own business. Or so I thought. The main reason I chose this particular house was the long driveway and the fact that I could finally charge my electric car at home. I'd been driving this Tesla for about 2 years, charging it at work and public stations, which was always a hassle. Having my own charging setup was going to be a game changer. The move went smoothly, and for the first week, everything was perfect. My neighbors seemed nice enough. The family on my left had young kids who played in their backyard, and the elderly couple on my right would wave whenever they saw me. Then there was the woman next door to the right. Let's call her Karen because, well, you'll see why. Karen lived alone in this big house with perfectly manicured grass and flower beds that looked like they belonged in a magazine. She was probably in her 50s, always dressed like she was going to some important meeting, even when she was just getting her mail. The trouble started during my second week. I was coming home from work around 6 in the evening, pulling into my driveway like I always did. My car is pretty quiet since it's electric, but it's not completely silent. There's still the sound of tires on pavement and the slight hum of the motor. As I was getting out, Karen came storming over from her yard. "Karen, excuse me, you need to do something about that car of yours." Me, "I'm sorry, what's wrong with my car?" Karen, "It's too quiet. It sneaks up on people. I was working in my garden, and suddenly you were just there. It's not natural for a car to be that silent." I honestly thought she was joking at first. Me, "Well, it's electric, so it doesn't make as much noise as regular cars. But it's not completely silent." Karen, "It's dangerous. What if there are children playing? What if someone's walking their dog? Your car could sneak up and hit them because they can't hear it coming." Me, "I drive very carefully in residential areas. The car has plenty of safety features, and I always watch for pedestrians and kids." Karen, "That's not good enough. You need to get a regular car or find somewhere else to live." I was pretty shocked by her attitude, but I figured she'd calm down once she got used to seeing the car around. I was wrong. Over the next few weeks, Karen made it her personal mission to complain about my car every chance she got. She'd wait outside when I came home from work just to tell me how dangerous and unnatural electric cars were. She started leaving handwritten notes on my windshield about the silent menace and how I was putting the whole neighborhood at risk. One note actually said, "Your devil car is an affront to God's natural order. Cars should make noise." I tried talking to her reasonably several times, but she wouldn't listen. She even started complaining to other neighbors about me, though most of them just shrugged it off. The elderly couple next door told me they thought she was being ridiculous. Things escalated when Karen began standing at the end of her driveway whenever I was leaving for work, shouting things like, "Karen, there goes the silent death trap. Karen, neighborhood menace coming through." It was embarrassing and annoying, but I figured as long as she stayed on her property, I'd just ignore her. Then last month, I installed a dashcam in my car. Not because of Karen specifically, but because I'd been thinking about getting one for a while. Insurance discounts, protection against false claims, that sort of thing. I got one of those models that records even when the car is parked. Best decision I ever made. 3 days after installing the camera, I came home to find Karen in my driveway, holding a baseball bat, standing right next to my car. My heart started racing as I quickly parked and got out. Me, "What are you doing?" Karen, "I'm solving the problem since you refuse to be reasonable." That's when I noticed the damage. She'd smashed the front end of my car. The bumper was cracked, the headlight was completely shattered, and there were several deep dents in the hood. Me, "Are you insane? You damaged my car." Karen, "I made it safe. Now everyone can see it's broken, and they'll know to stay away from your silent death machine." Me, you can't just destroy someone else's property. This is going to cost thousands to repair. Karen, good. Maybe now you'll get rid of this unnatural contraption and buy a proper car like a normal person. She was completely calm about it, like she'd done nothing wrong. She even seemed proud of herself. Me, I'm calling the police. Karen, go ahead. I'll tell them exactly what I did and why. They'll understand I was protecting the neighborhood. So I called the police right there in my driveway, while Karen stood there with her arms crossed, still holding the bat. When the officers arrived, Karen immediately launched into her story about how electric cars were dangerous and how she'd fixed the problem for everyone's safety. She showed them the damage she'd done like she was presenting evidence at a trial. Officer, ma'am, you can't damage other people's property, regardless of your concerns about the vehicle. Karen, but it's a safety issue. Someone had to do something. Officer, if you had safety concerns, you should have contacted us or code enforcement. Destroying property is vandalism. That's when I remembered the dashcam. Me, officer, I have the whole thing recorded on my car's camera. We pulled up the footage right there, and it was perfect. Crystal clear video of Karen walking up to my car with a bat, looking around to make sure no one was watching, and then systematically smashing the front end. She even took a break in the middle to adjust her grip on the bat. The officer watching the video just shook his head. Officer, ma'am, you're under arrest for vandalism and destruction of property. Karen's confident attitude disappeared instantly. Karen, but I was helping. The car is dangerous. Officer, you're going to need to explain that to the judge. As they were putting her in handcuffs, Karen started yelling at me. Karen, this is all your fault. If you'd just gotten a normal car, none of this would have happened. Karen, you'll be sorry when someone gets hurt because of that silent monster. The whole thing was surreal. My other neighbors had come out to watch, and most of them looked as shocked as I felt. The damage to my car ended up costing about $4,000 to repair. Karen was charged with felony vandalism because of the amount. Her lawyer tried to argue that she genuinely believed she was preventing accidents, but the prosecutor wasn't buying it. The dashcam footage made it clear this was premeditated. She brought the bat specifically to damage my car. She ended up pleading guilty and had to pay for all the repairs plus court costs and fines. The judge also ordered her to complete anger management classes and community service. The best part? During the court hearing, the prosecutor played the dashcam footage for everyone to see. Karen had to sit there and watch herself methodically destroying my car, while the judge, lawyers, and court staff all shook their heads in disbelief. After everything was settled, Karen avoided me completely. She'd actually crossed the street when she saw me coming. The irony wasn't lost on me now she was the one trying to be stealthy. About a month later, I noticed a "for sale" sign in her yard. One of my neighbors told me she was moving in with her sister in another state. Apparently, the legal fees and repair costs had put a serious dent in her finances. The neighborhood's been much quieter since she left. My electric car still runs silently, but now I just get the occasional curious question from new neighbors about how I like it. Normal, reasonable questions from normal, reasonable people. I still have the dashcam, and I've actually recommended them to several neighbors after they heard about what happened. You never know when you might need video evidence of someone's ridiculous behavior. The whole experience taught me that some people will go to absolutely insane lengths to justify their prejudices. Karen couldn't stand that my car was different from what she thought was normal, so she convinced herself that made it dangerous. When I wouldn't get rid of it, she decided to take matters into her own hands. Thank goodness for technology. Without that dashcam, it would have been her word against mine, and who knows how that would have played out. Instead, she got to face the consequences of her actions while I got my car fixed on her dime. Sometimes the system actually works. Story 2. I've been planning my wedding for over a year now. My fiancé and I saved up every penny we could because we wanted our day to be perfect, even though we're not rich by any means. I work as a nurse at the local hospital, and he's a high school teacher. We don't make a lot, but we make enough to have a nice, small wedding with our closest friends and family. The one thing I splurged on was my wedding dress. I found this amazing local designer who creates custom dresses. She's not super famous or anything, but her work is incredible. I fell in love with one of her designs and decided to have her make it just for me. It cost me 3 months of overtime shifts to afford it, but it was worth every hour. The dress is absolutely stunning. It's a classic align with delicate lace sleeves and tiny pearls sewn throughout the bodice. The back has this beautiful illusion neckline with covered buttons all the way down. It fits me like a glove and makes me feel like a princess. I was so excited about it that I posted a photo of myself in it during the final fitting on my social media. Within an hour of posting, I got a message from Karen. I knew her from college. We weren't close friends, just acquaintances who stayed connected on social media. Her family has money, like serious money. Her husband owns several car dealerships, and they live in this massive house in the nicest part of town. Karen, hi, saw your dress post. It's gorgeous. My daughter is getting married in 2 months, and I think your dress would be perfect for her. Can she borrow it? I stared at my phone in disbelief. This woman wanted to borrow my custom-made wedding dress for her daughter's wedding. Me, thanks for the compliment. But this is my wedding dress, and it's custom-made for me. I'm getting married in 3 weeks. Karen, I know it's custom, but my daughter's wedding is going to be much more high-profile than yours. She's marrying the son of a state senator, and there will be lots of important people there. Your dress would get so much more exposure at her wedding than yours. Plus, you could always get something else. I couldn't believe what I was reading. She wanted me to give up my dream dress so her daughter could wear it to a more important wedding. Me, I'm sorry, but no. This is my wedding dress. I saved for months to have it made, and I'm wearing it to my own wedding. Karen, don't be selfish. My daughter's wedding is in 2 months. Yours isn't for 3 weeks. She could wear it first and get it dry cleaned before your little ceremony. Me, the answer is no. Please don't ask again. I thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. 2 days later, I got a call from the bridal boutique where my dress was being stored until my wedding. Boutique owner, hi, this is really awkward, but there's a woman here claiming she's supposed to pick up your dress for her daughter. She's being very insistent and causing a scene. Me? What? No, nobody else is supposed to pick up my dress. I'll be there in 20 minutes. I rushed to the boutique, and when I walked in, I could hear Karen's voice from the back room. Karen, I don't care what your records say. I'm a valued customer, and I need that dress today. I walked back to find Karen standing at the counter, red-faced and gesturing wildly at the poor shop assistant. Me? What are you doing here? Karen, oh good, you're here. Tell them to give me the dress. My daughter needs it for photos tomorrow. Me, I already told you no. You can't have my dress. Karen, look, I tried to be nice about this, but you're being ridiculous. My daughter's wedding is more important than yours. Everyone who matters will be at her wedding. Your little gathering isn't even worth mentioning. The boutique owner stepped between us. Boutique owner, ma'am, this dress belongs to her. You need to leave. Karen, I'm not leaving without that dress. That's when Karen did something I still can't believe. She pushed past the boutique owner and ran toward the back where the dresses were hanging. She grabbed what she thought was my dress and started pulling it off the hanger. Me, that's not even my dress. Stop. She had grabbed someone else's dress, but she didn't care. She was yanking at it so hard that I heard fabric tearing. Boutique owner, I'm calling security. Karen, you can't ban me. I spend thousands here every year. Security arrived within minutes. Karen was still clutching the damaged dress, screaming about how unfair everyone was being. Security guard, ma'am, you need to leave immediately. Karen, this is discrimination. I know the owner of this plaza. Security guard, you're trespassing and you've damaged merchandise. Leave now or we'll call the police. The boutique owner was documenting everything with her phone. Boutique owner, "You're banned from this store. Don't come back." As security escorted Karen out, she was still yelling, "Karen, my husband will hear about this. We'll sue all of you." After she left, the boutique owner showed me that my actual dress was safe in a different area. The dress Karen had grabbed and damaged belonged to another bride who was getting married the following week. But the story doesn't end there. Apparently, Karen went home and immediately called her daughter to complain about how mean everyone had been to her. What she didn't expect was her daughter's reaction. The next day, Karen's daughter posted a long message on social media apologizing for her mother's behavior. She tagged Karen in it. Daughter's post: "I'm mortified by my mother's actions at the bridal boutique yesterday. She tried to steal another bride's custom wedding dress because she thought my wedding was more important than theirs. I am so embarrassed. To the bride whose dress my mother damaged, I will personally pay for all repairs. Mom, your behavior was unacceptable, and I'm ashamed to be associated with it." The post went viral in our town. Everyone was sharing it and commenting about how entitled Karen had acted. Karen tried to defend herself in the comments, but that only made it worse. My dress was perfect for my wedding day. The boutique owner even gave me a discount on my alterations as an apology for what happened. And the other bride whose dress got damaged, Karen's daughter did pay for the repairs, and the boutique was able to fix it perfectly. Karen never apologized to me. In fact, she blocked me on social media after her daughter's posts started getting attention. But justice was served when her country club apparently asked her to step down from the social committee after the story spread. Turns out, trying to steal someone's wedding dress isn't great for your reputation in high society circles. My wedding was absolutely perfect, and my dress was everything I dreamed it would be. Sometimes I wonder if Karen learned anything from the experience, but honestly, I doubt it. Story 3. 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with a rare autoimmune condition that affects my joints and muscles. Some days are better than others, but walking long distances became nearly impossible. After months of avoiding public places because I was embarrassed about needing help, my doctor finally convinced me to get a mobility scooter. The scooter gave me back some independence. I could go grocery shopping again, visit the mall, and do normal things without exhausting myself or being in pain for days afterward. It took time to get used to the stares and comments from strangers, but I learned to ignore most of them. That Saturday afternoon, I decided to treat myself to some shopping at the local mall. I needed new clothes since my old ones didn't fit right anymore due to medication side effects. The mall had become one of my favorite places because it was accessible and had plenty of space for my scooter. I parked my scooter near the entrance of a clothing store, making sure it was out of the way but still visible from inside. The scooter has a key that I always remove when parking, plus a small lock feature for the wheels. I engaged the lock and took the key with me, like I always do. Inside the store, I was looking through some shirts when I heard a commotion outside. Through the window, I could see a woman standing near my scooter, while a young boy, maybe 6 or 7 years old, was climbing all over it. The kid was pressing buttons, trying to move the seat, and generally treating it like playground equipment. I quickly made my way outside, using the store's walker they kept for elderly customers. Excuse me, could you please get your son off my scooter?" The woman looked at me like I had just asked her to donate a kidney. "Karen, he's just playing. It's not like you're using it right now." That's my medical equipment. I need it to get around, and he could damage it or hurt himself." "Karen, oh please, it's just a little electric cart. He's not hurting anything." Right as she said that, her son managed to disengage the wheel lock somehow and the scooter started rolling backward. He panicked and tried to jump off, but his foot got caught and he tumbled to the ground, scraping his knee on the mall floor. The scooter rolled a few more feet before bumping gently into a planter. The kid immediately started wailing, and Karen rushed over to him. "Karen, oh my God, look what happened. This is all your fault." She pointed at me accusingly while comforting her crying son. "I asked you to get him off. That's exactly why I didn't want him playing on it. Karen, you should have locked it up properly. What kind of person leaves dangerous equipment just lying around where children can get hurt? Me, I did lock it. Your son somehow unlocked it, and it's not dangerous when used properly by someone who knows how to operate it. A small crowd was starting to gather. Karen seemed to notice this and got louder. Karen, this woman left her electric wheelchair just sitting here unlocked. My poor baby could have been seriously injured. Someone needs to call security. A mall security guard appeared, having heard the shouting. Security guard, what's the problem here? Karen immediately launched into a dramatic retelling of events, claiming I had been negligent and that my abandoned wheelchair was a public safety hazard. She demanded that I be banned from the mall and threatened to sue for her son's injuries. Karen, look at his knee. He's traumatized. This could have been so much worse. I tried to explain what really happened, but Karen kept interrupting. Me, sir, I parked my scooter properly and locked it. I asked her to get her son off when I saw him playing on it, but she refused. I have a medical condition and this is my mobility aid. Security guard, do you have any proof of how this happened? That's when I remembered something important. Me, actually. Yes. This area should be covered by the mall's security cameras. The security guard's radio crackled, and another voice came through. Voice on radio. We saw the whole thing on camera. Do you need us to pull the footage? Karen's face went pale. Security guard, please send it to my tablet. We waited a few minutes while the footage was transferred. The security guard watched it, his expression growing more serious. Security guard, ma'am, this footage clearly shows your son climbing on the mobility scooter while you watched. The owner asked you to remove him, you refused, and then the accident happened exactly as she described. Karen, that can't be right. Let me see that. Security guard, I'm going to have to ask you to come with me to the security office. And ma'am, I'm sorry about this situation. Your scooter appears to be undamaged. Karen, this is ridiculous. I'm calling my lawyer. That woman endangered my child. As we walked to the security office, Karen continued ranting about lawsuits and negligence. The security footage was crystal clear. It showed her son climbing on my scooter for nearly 5 minutes while she watched and did nothing. It showed me coming out and asking her to remove him. It even captured her dismissive response and her son's accident. The head of mall security reviewed the footage and immediately issued Karen a trespassing notice, banning her from the property. Security manager, this kind of behavior puts other customers at risk and creates liability issues for the mall. You allowed your child to damage and misuse another person's medical equipment, then became aggressive when confronted about it. Karen, you can't ban me. I'm a paying customer. I'll sue this mall too. Security manager, you're welcome to try. We have everything documented. 2 weeks later, I received a court summons. Karen had actually followed through on her lawsuit threat, claiming negligence and seeking damages for her son's pain and suffering. I contacted a lawyer friend who agreed to represent me. The case was laughably weak. The mall's security footage was presented as evidence, along with testimony from the security guards who witnessed the incident. Karen's lawyer looked embarrassed to be there. During her testimony, Karen stuck to her story that I was negligent and that mobility scooters shouldn't be allowed in public spaces without supervision. Karen, these devices are dangerous. They should require licenses or something. Judge, ma'am, mobility scooters are regulated medical devices. The defendant was using hers appropriately and legally. My lawyer presented the security footage again, which clearly contradicted everything Karen claimed. The judge watched it twice. Judge, this footage clearly shows that the plaintiff allowed her child to misuse the defendant's medical equipment despite being asked to stop. The subsequent accident was entirely preventable and caused by the plaintiff's negligence, not the defendant's. The judge not only dismissed Karen's case, but ordered her to pay my legal fees and damages for the stress and time lost dealing with her frivolous lawsuit. The total came to nearly $3,000. Karen's lawyer tried to argue for reduced damages, But the judge wasn't having it. Judge, filing frivolous lawsuits wastes court time and resources. The plaintiff clearly knew her case had no merit based on the available evidence. After court, I ran into Karen in the parking lot. She was still fuming. "Karen, this isn't over. I'll appeal this." "Me, you're welcome to try. But you might want to watch that security footage again first." I climbed onto my scooter and drove away, leaving her standing there looking defeated. The mall security later told me she had tried to return several times, but was escorted off the property each time. The whole experience taught me to be more confident about standing up for myself. My mobility scooter isn't a toy or a convenience, it's medical equipment that gives me independence. I shouldn't have to apologize for needing it or let others treat it carelessly. Story 4. Let me start from the beginning. My husband got deployed overseas 6 months ago, leaving me to handle our 3-month-old daughter alone. Being a new mom without family nearby has been overwhelming, and my therapist suggested I try getting out of the house more instead of staying cooped up all day. That's how I discovered Sunny Paws Cafe, this dog-friendly outdoor place about 10 minutes from my apartment. The cafe became my lifeline. I could sit outside with my daughter's stroller, enjoy decent coffee, and watch the dogs play. It gave me adult interaction without the pressure of making small talk, since everyone was usually focused on their pets. Plus, my daughter seemed to love watching the animals. That Tuesday started like any other. I'd fed my daughter, packed the diaper bag, and walked over to the cafe around 11. The morning rush had cleared out, leaving plenty of open tables. I picked my usual spot under the big oak tree because the shade kept my daughter comfortable and I could easily maneuver the stroller. I was halfway through my latte when she showed up. This woman in her 50s walked in with a massive golden retriever. She had that haircut that screams, "Let me speak to your manager," and was wearing workout clothes that probably cost more than my grocery budget. She surveyed the patio like she owned the place. Her dog was beautiful, I'll give her that. Fluffy golden coat, well-groomed, probably weighed as much as I did. But instead of sitting at one of the many empty tables, she made a beeline straight for me. "Karen, excuse me, you need to move that stroller." I looked up from my phone, confused. "Me, I'm sorry, what?" "Karen, your stroller. It needs to be moved. My dog needs this spot." I glanced around at all the empty tables, then back at her. "Me, there are plenty of other shaded spots available. We're fine here." "Karen, my dog is very particular about where he sits. He's a purebred golden retriever worth more than your car, and he only sits in prime locations." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I adjusted my daughter's blanket and tried to stay calm. "Me, look, we were here first, and there are other tables with shade. I'm not moving my baby because your dog wants this specific spot." That's when her face turned red. "Karen, do you know who I am? My husband is a lawyer, and we spend more money in one day than you probably make in a month. That stroller is taking up unnecessary space." "Me, I don't care who you are. I'm not moving." She stood there for a moment, and I thought maybe she'd finally give up and pick another table. Instead, she did something that still makes my blood boil. She walked over and shoved my daughter's stroller. Not hard enough to tip it over, but enough to jolt my sleeping baby awake. My daughter immediately started crying, and I jumped up so fast I knocked over my coffee. "Me, what is wrong with you? You just pushed a stroller with a baby in it. Karen, maybe next time you'll listen when someone asks you nicely to move." The entire patio went silent except for my daughter's crying. I was shaking with rage and trying to comfort her when other people started getting involved. An older man at the next table stood up. "Witness 1, ma'am, I saw the whole thing. You just assaulted a baby." A woman with her phone out was already recording. "Witness 2, this is insane. Who pushes a baby stroller?" Karen looked around and realized everyone was staring at her. But instead of backing down, she doubled down. "Karen, all of you mind your own business. She was being unreasonable, and I barely touched it." That's when the cafe manager came outside. He was this young guy, probably mid-20s, and he looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. "Manager, what's going on out here?" Multiple people started talking at once, but the woman with the phone spoke loudest. Witness 2. This woman just shoved a baby stroller because she wanted the table. I got it all on video. The manager looked at Karen, then at me holding my crying daughter. "Manager, is this true?" Karen, "These people are exaggerating. I barely touched the stroller, and she was being completely unreasonable about moving." Manager, "You pushed a stroller with a baby in it." Karen, "I nudged it. There's a difference." The manager's expression changed completely. Manager, "Ma'am, you need to leave immediately." Karen, "I most certainly will not. I'm a paying customer, and she was taking up too much space with that oversized stroller." Manager, "You're banned from this establishment permanently. Please leave now, or I'll call the police." Karen, "You can't ban me. My family has been coming here for years. I'll have you fired." Manager, "I'm the owner. Please leave." The golden retriever, who had been sitting quietly this whole time, seemed embarrassed by his owner. I almost felt bad for the dog. Karen grabbed her dog's leash and stormed toward the exit, but not before turning back for one final outburst. Karen, "This is ridiculous. All this fuss over a little push. Some people are way too sensitive about their precious little snowflakes." After she left, the manager brought me a new coffee and refused to let me pay. The other customers kept checking if my daughter and I were okay. The woman with the phone asked if I wanted her to delete the video, but honestly, I was so angry I told her to keep it. She posted it on social media that same day with the caption, "Karen pushes baby stroller at dog cafe because her golden retriever deserves prime seating." The video went viral within hours. By the next morning, the video had hundreds of thousands of views. People were sharing it everywhere, and Karen's face was plastered all over social media. Someone even identified her and found her other social media accounts. Let's just say she wasn't prepared for the internet's response. The cafe owner told me later that she tried calling multiple times to get her ban lifted, claiming the video was taken out of context. He said no. I still go to Sunny Paws Cafe twice a week. My daughter is 6 months old now and loves watching the dogs. The manager always waves when he sees us, and I've made friends with some of the regular customers who witnessed the incident. As for Karen, I heard through the grapevine that she had to delete all her social media accounts because people kept recognizing her from the video. Someone even spotted her at a different dog park, and she left immediately when other dog owners started whispering and pointing. The golden retriever probably found a better owner. At least, I hope he did. Story 5. I'm 25 and had been saving every penny since college to buy my first house. After 3 years of working 2 jobs and living in a tiny studio, I finally saved enough for a down payment on a small 2-bedroom in a quiet neighborhood. Moving day was going smoothly until I noticed my neighbor staring at me from her porch. She looked like the type who complains to managers regularly. I walked over to introduce myself. Hi, I'm your new neighbor. Just moved in today." Karen, "Moved in? The previous owners left months ago." Yes, I bought the house. I'm the new owner." Karen, "That's impossible. You're way too young to afford a house here." She went inside and slammed her door. 2 days later, police knocked on my door. "Officer, we received a report about someone squatting here. Can you provide proof you have a right to be here?" I showed them my ID, deed, and mortgage paperwork. They apologized and left, but I saw Karen watching through her curtains. A week later, same thing. Same officers, same paperwork. This time they suggested I get a security camera. I ordered a doorbell camera immediately. 2 weeks of peace, then my phone rang at work. Voice: "This is the Homeowner Association Board. You need to vacate within 48 hours or face eviction." Who is this? I own this house legally. Voice: "That's what they all say. 48 hours. I called my realtor, who confirmed there was no homeowner association in my neighborhood. When I got home, 3 officers were waiting. "Officer, someone claiming to represent the homeowner association said you're trespassing." "Me? Before I show my paperwork again, want to see something interesting?" I opened my doorbell camera app. The footage showed Karen trying to open my mailbox that morning and peering through my windows. "Officer, is that your neighbor?" "Me, yes. I believe she's been making all these calls." I showed them my documents and played the fake association voicemail. The officers were not happy. "Officer, what she's doing is harassment, filing false reports, and attempted mail tampering." We walked to Karen's house together. "Karen, oh good, you arrested her finally." "Officer, ma'am, we need to discuss the false reports you've been filing." "Karen, false? Young people like her can't afford houses here." "Officer, we've seen her legal paperwork. She owns that property. We also have footage of you tampering with her mailbox." "Karen, I was checking if mail was piling up to prove no one lives there." The officers arrested Karen for filing false police reports and attempted mail tampering. As they handcuffed her, she screamed about how I didn't belong in the neighborhood. The district attorney asked if I wanted to press charges. I said yes. Karen pleaded guilty and got community service, fines, and a restraining order. The best part? Her community service was helping first-time homebuyers with moving and yard work. Karen moved out last month. The new neighbors welcomed me with homemade cookies instead of police calls. Sometimes the worst people teach you the most about standing up for yourself.